To save some space in this tiny office, we might be better off with a different type of stair. I'll delete the straight stair and try an L-type stair. Again, use Grid Snap, drag out the length, let go of the mouse, and then click another point over here to set the L shape. Click a third point to set the height, but as you know, that point rests on the grid so that the stair collapses down flat. I'll turn off Snap and come down here and customize it. Pin the riser count, set the overall height to 9 feet, and then pin the overall height. You can adjust either of these two variables to get the riser height within your limits, and 7 1/8 is a good value. However, the tread depth is a little too narrow. To increase that, I'll need to play around with these two parameters, length 1 and length 2. They govern the lengths of the individual flights. If I boost the length 2, you'll see that I get additional treads up there, and it happens in a jump because you can only add an additional tread. You can't do it gradually. And now that really hasn't made much of a difference. I'll boost length 1, and now we're starting to see a depth increase. And I'd say that looks pretty good right about there. By the way, you can change the angle on an L-type stair to do something like that. Up at the top, you have an option of having an open stair, a closed stair, which might be good for a concrete flight, or the box type. I'll stick with the open type. You can either have a carriage that holds the treads or stringers that holds them from the outside. I think I'll stick with a carriage, but I'd like to customize that. And before I do, I'll go into the top viewport and reposition the stair. Now that I've sized it, I'll move it over so that it fits a little bit better in the space. Now I'll go back into perspective and zoom in a little closer. So let's continue to customize it. We were talking about the carriage, and there's a special rollout for that down here. The carriage has a depth and width parameter, but that's not really what I'm interested in. I'm more interested in this button here. This will allow you to space the carriage, and right now we have one that's centered. I'll have two, and I'd like to adjust the position here by saying end offset. And I can control where that happens. I'll set the spacing to 3 feet, and that puts the carriage at either end of the stair. I'll close that and then continue adjusting the parameters. Up at the top, you have a choice to create a handrail on the left and the right, but this is a very basic object. It doesn't have anything connecting the handrail to the stair itself. I recommend instead that you create a rail path on the left and the right. This puts in a spline object that you can use to create a more sophisticated railing. However, if you take this route, it's important to set the railing height to 0.